Good morning, everybody. It's morning for me right now. I don't know. Good, whatever it is, whatever time you catch this video. Oh, look at that nice little hair sticking up. Anyway, today our topic is going to be growing from lack to unlimited, and uncertainty is in the fertilizer. You know, it's that in-between stuff. Sometimes people may say it's BS, but sometimes, when we can recognize, and I talked about perspectives earlier this week, when we recognize that we have our perspectives or our directives and what way we're going to grow, and sometimes that is in the fertilizer. I'm not saying sometimes it doesn't feel like BS, you know what I mean? But this in-between time, see, that's the thing, is when we're going from lack to unlimited, is a lot of times when we come from lack, we get presented with an idea and we think, this is a great idea. So then we present it and maybe it doesn't have the response that we hope that it will have. And speaking of response, I want to give a shout out. I got to tell you that, sometimes I keep putting forth effort and stuff and it doesn't seem like anything's happening. And last night I went to bed and I had 290 subscribers. So thank you all who have already subscribed to my channel. But I get up and I look at it a while ago and I have 295. I didn't know that this was going to happen. So this is the thing, is that in that uncertainty, that's the I don't know, And so when we look at our words and knowing and embodying in them, and imprinting them, the new words, because there's words of lack that we say. I was even caught up in that. I said I sucked about something the other day, and then I had to catch myself, and it's like, Stacy, you don't have an interest in that. It's not that you suck at that, because if I have interest in something, then I'm going to learn how to do it, and I'm going to become good at it. But I'm not going to be good at first. As you can see, I've been doing these videos a while, and probably the first ones I did I wasn't as comfortable doing them as I am now. So when we're growing, I want to thank you all, though. I'm not just trying to glaze over it. You 5 that are new. Thank you so much. I hope that you'll enjoy this. And if you feel that it's helpful to you and will help somebody else, please share, and keep the subscription going, because I explain to people that you can, people can buy subscribers and things like this, but I'm trying to grow organically and authentically, because that's what my message is to you all, is that you're great, organic and authentic as you are, and that growth is a process. You can't just buy growth. You can't just buy your health. You can't just buy certain things. You can. That's an untruth too, right? Because you can. But developing your character, being able to stand, and say with most assurance, most confidence, because that confidence is coming through your self-esteem, which each time you accomplish something new, your self-esteem will grow, So that's what I wanted to talk about today, is that sometimes we're not popular in this meantime. Sometimes we haven't been popular, and that's the lack, and so being able to be okay, to sit with that and not attached. It's been a process for me to do what I do and not be attached to if people are going to like it or not, if it's going to grow or not, because knowing that each one of those 5 new subscribers is a special person. Each one of the 290 before that is a special person, because they chose to subscribe to this channel, and your choices matter. And so just knowing that there's always something in the unseen going on too. I got to meet with somebody this morning, and we really resonate with each other, and knowing that there are indeed things growing in the unseen, just waiting to be seen. But a lot of times people give up before they're seen. And a lot of times we pivot with possibilities so that something we couldn't have foreseen can happen that's going to be even better than what we were dreaming. And I've had that happen. So this morning on my Facebook Live, I encouraged people to think back to those times, to when they have overcome something. I always suggest to people too to document that, to write that down, because unfortunately a lot of the times our disappointments imprint heavier than those things that are our victories and our wins. So, but when we can chart and track our progress, chart and track the progress of where we've come from and where we're growing to, that vision. One of my vision is I have the end result here and not the fear of how am I going to get there, and like in 1 year. And then where I want to be in 10 years. I've got these things, but I'm not attached to them. They don't have to happen in a certain kind of way. And so today, we'll finish with this breathing today, but I want you to think of what you want, and then in the release, not attaching to it. Because I work with a group also weekly on Thursdays, exploring codependency. And we talk about learning how to think about what we want and then not attach to it. What we want, what I want individually, what you want individually. Because a lot of us have lived in lack to where we were really fulfilling somebody else's dreams or thinking about what other people want. I work with many people who say I'm always thinking about somebody else and not myself. So my name is Stacy Renee. I'm a Transformation Mindset Coach, and that's what I do is I help people learn to find harmony in between the ego and the soul. The ego is about me, because it's that survival mechanism, and it's normal. And then the soul's about, but there's service and there's community. And so knowing when to give, and, is your cup half empty or half full? And then coming to the center in that harmony of knowing when I need to take care of myself and when I need to extend what I've gotten to somebody else, right? But sometimes we're just giving. And you have to have something in your cup for you too. So that's how we grow from lack, is not going from one extreme to the other, because getting comfortable in the harmony of the in-between, and rising by lifting people up, Caitlin, KT, Profi Queen, she was lifting me up today. She said, girl, was your phone going up? And I'm lifting up people too. If she was saying that, I was going on a Facebook Live saying, y'all need to check out KT, because we all are able to rise above our struggles. We don't have to stay stuck in the struggles. She inspires me. She inspired me to do the TikTok. So I'm on TikTok now. It's stepping out of my comfort zone. I didn't know about TikTok. I'm still learning things about TikTok. I don't know, But I'm just going on there, doing a live. I do live on TikTok Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. I'm on Facebook Live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Because it's just about that connection. Do you desire connection, but yet you're not sure how? I did too at one time. I started off with these YouTube videos, and then, it's just knowing that we're doing something, and that when we look back, it's like, I remember back when I only had 50 subscribers, then 100, then 150, and I'm going to have 300 if I get 5 more, and that's going to be double, is what I'm saying. So, I also talked about it with our dreams this morning. Putting your dreams out to those people who are going to support you and encourage you. Not putting your dreams out before the swine, as they would say, right? Is just not putting your brilliant ideas and your pearls, your visions and dreams and goals. Don't put them out in front of people who can't see that for you. Because sometimes people will let us play small, and I'm being told by my business coach, Stacy. So that's, another thing that's given me the courage to put myself out here more so than I did, is he's like, Stacy, don't be stingy. Don't be stingy. So knowing that you have something to offer too, and that, we're just growing in different levels and layers. There's not a plateau, to where we can grow, because as long as we have a breath, we're being able to connect. And part of that is with people, and part of that's with ourselves. I always say yourself, your cells, and your soul, because your soul is going to be that of service. It's going to guide you to the service that you're meant. So the breath, though, puts us in alignment with ourselves. Sometimes we need to breathe. I encourage clients to breathe, pray, and say, I don't know, if they're praying, if we're a praying person. So breathe, pray, and say, I don't know. Because sometimes we'll be making up these stories from lack about it has to happen this way. Where's my pen? It has to happen this way, and if it doesn't happen this way right away, then and I used to do that too, is those are control issues, though. And so it is about releasing control about how things happen. And then, embodying it. It's on Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. And Wednesday is embodying the magic. The actual Wednesday, I've said this before on here, but Wednesday comes from that Nordic the Nordic god Odin. And what that is it's about magical and wisdom and embodying that. If we could pick certain days rather than letting what's outside default us. So I got to do this, I got to do that. Is, waking up with that curiosity of the day of, it's Wednesday, it's magic and wisdom. What wisdom can I gain today? Because I'm smarter today than I was yesterday, and I'm smarter than I was, 10 years ago. Thank God, And so being able to understand, go from that lack to unlimited, and knowing that at one time, 10 years ago, what I thought was unlimited, that I have now. I live an amazing life. Sometimes I have my concerns. I'm growing through a transformation, even as we speak. But I didn't know 10 years ago that I was going to live part-time by the Caribbean. And I do that as a single woman, too, and everything. So being able to do that and visit this country. I plan to go to Europe in a year, and explore a lot of Europe that I haven't seen before. This was a dream of mine as a young person, is to be able to see these different places. It all started with going to Six Flags and Seven Seas when I was a child. So it's about getting connected again with our childlike essence. So remembering who you are before the world told you who to be, right? So I want us to breathe that in and just to remember, go from lack to possibility. I think it was Audrey Hepburn, it was, said, I'm possible is impossible is I'm possible. And I've talked about the I am and how powerful that is. So breathing that in and then holding your dream, goal, and vision of even what you can create this week, next week, that's going to lead to the future. There's little things I do that lead to my going to Europe next year and everything. So just kind of breathe in what it is your dream, goal, and vision is. And then holding it in your mind for a minute, knowing you're worthy. And then just gently releasing it, knowing you are worthy in your soul. Okay? So we're going to do that. We're only going to do 3 today. When I work with clients, I do 5 because there is a different escalation on the 5 breaths. Okay? But I want to be mindful of your time. And I want to thank you so much for how you connect to me in whatever way. Because we're building a different algorithm. If I would be talking about some certain things that are really negative going on in the world, then I'm sure I would, that's sometimes really popular. That builds that algorithm. But what algorithm I'm trying to build is that helps us to divinely connect. You're where you're supposed to be and you're growing. And that's good enough, okay? You have that willingness. All right, so here we grow. Let's take a deep breath in. Fill up your tummy like the little kids. You have those pictures when you're little kids and your tummy's just so full. And then we just hold it 4 counts. And then we release gently and slowly out of our mouth. Because whatever happens today, tomorrow, is just be gentle and slow and methodical with yourself and your body. You're going to feel it. Okay, ready? Let's take a deep breath in. Hold it. And release. Breathe. Hold it. So I hope that felt good if you did that, and that you'll set maybe a timer on your phone to do that for 5 minutes every day. It will regulate you. Your brain loves the breath, your cells love the breath. It connects you to the present moment and what's really going on right now so that you can navigate more clearly. So I want to encourage you that when a Wednesday comes, every day could be a Wednesday if you count it WINS or $DAY, because you're doing something. So staying focused on your goals, even if nobody's watching, because you are a winner and you are the prize, and you'll see it one day. Okay? Through your own eyes, not somebody else's eyes. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, and have an amazing week wherever you're at in this week. Okay.